It really warms up quickly when that sun comes up.
Yep.
It was chilly again this morning. Yeah, I could definitely go for some sitting today.
Might not get it.
No. If we do it in 4-mile pushes.
Yeah.
Go 4 miles, take a break. What's 4 miles in kilometers?
Let's see, 3.2 kilometers is 2 miles. So 6.4.
6.4, every 6.5 kilometers. The first 3 we could just go 7 each time. And then the last quarter would be slightly smaller.
This whole day would just be a montage.
Yeah. Just us endlessly walking down the road.
Progressively slower, more miserable.
Yeah, our expressions. The only things that changes is us. The road's the same.
There are far worse places to walk.
Oh, well, that was one of the notes in the thing I read was somebody, the guy had written his full report, and somebody had written in and said they hiked it the next year, and they're like, don't even hitch. It's as beautiful and peaceful a trail as I've ever hiked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just long.
It's just long. It's fine.
Beauty and peace will only go so far.
Yeah. Well, and it'd be different too if it was like we hadn't had 2 pretty long days already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would love to just sit here, make breakfast, watch these guanacos, maybe venture out a little.
Yeah.
But
oh, we got up earlier.
did we?
It's not even 8 yet.
Wow.
I got up before 7.
I know.
You were up at like.
That's good. 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't too long before.
Yeah, I woke up.
We're 16 miles from park headquarters. We have to be in Cochrane, another 17 miles further, to make our connections back to Santiago by the end of the day tomorrow. The plan is to get to park headquarters today and arrange for a ride to Cochrane in the morning. This road will take us there. Whether we'll have to walk the whole way or we'll get a ride is the question. We're very much hoping for that ride. The road will lead us through the Chacabuco Valley, once the heart of one of the largest livestock operations in Chile, now the centerpiece of Patagonia National Park. After extensive rewilding efforts, the valley is now, once again, occupied by a wide variety of wildlife, including the gray fox, the gopher-like tuco-tuco, the rabbit-like mara, the burrowing owl, armadillos, eagles, hawks, and a host of smaller birds, and of course, the guanaco and their primary predator, the puma. We've been hoping to see one of the big cats the entire trip, and this valley definitely represents our best opportunity to catch a glimpse. We'll be keeping our eyes out. Beyond the version told by conservation organizations and the Chilean government, the history of this valley doesn't seem to be particularly well documented. Prior to the 20th century, as far as we can determine, a thriving native ecosystem existed in the Chacabuco Valley and the surrounding area, structured naturally around the keystone herbivore, the guanaco, and their apex predator, the puma.
There it is. Yeah, they get up high.
It seems the valley has long been an important east-west corridor connecting the Argentinian steppe and the southern beech forests of Chilean Patagonia. The native Tehuelche people, a nomadic tribe of hunter-gatherers, moved through and hunted this area for at least 9,000 years before colonization. Unlike modern humans, they left very little trace of their presence on the landscape. This valley must once have witnessed the migration of massive herds of guanacos, shadowed always by the puma, as well as a healthy number of nandu, way mule, and condors. We can only really imagine the abundant natural system that must have flourished here. The wildlife must have been on par with Yellowstone's Lamar Valley or the Serengeti. But that world would disappear with the coming of industrial agriculture to the valley in the 20th century. The early indications are not encouraging as far as getting a ride is concerned. Several cars pass us by. Maybe we look a little too much like a couple dirty, hairy, desperate men who've spent too many days in the wilderness. To be fair, most of the vehicles we're seeing are heading in the opposite direction. We're holding on to hope.
Walking on a road is vastly different than walking through the mountains or along a trail where there is significant variation. And I think after walking, say, 5 miles along a dirt road, you kind of enter a little bit more of a trance-like state. And as we keep walking, and having these cars go by us and nobody stopping to give us a ride, kind of the reality that we might be walking for a very long time kind of started to sink in.
way. We've gone 8 miles. I thought this was the top. It's up there. That must be the distance to the
Highway.
highway.
Let's
Go sit down over here. Where are you headed?
Oh, just where there was a little rise.
Oh, there's stickers over there, though.
No, there's not.
Here, there's a little rise for you there. In 1908, the Chilean government granted the land in the Chacabuco Valley for settlement to a company run by an Englishman named Lucas Bridges. It was the beginning of nearly a century of decline for the native flora and fauna. The company formed what would become a massive livestock operation, running as many as 85,000 sheep in the valley. The ranch persisted through highs and lows for the next 56 years, apparently never becoming a profitable endeavor. And in 1964, the Chilean government instituted agrarian reforms and redistributed the land to a number of local families to continue livestock operations on a smaller scale. But this era was short-lived as the land was taken from those families in the 70s by the dictator Augusto Pinochet's government and later sold to a Belgian man named Francisco de Smet. Once again, a massive livestock operation owned by a wealthy foreigner occupied the valley, and for the next 24 years, as many as 30,000 head of cattle and sheep ranged across this ground. In 2004, the land of the Chacabuco Valley was purchased by the billionaire Douglas Tompkins, the founder of clothing lines Esprit and the North Face, and his wife Christine, the former CEO of the Patagonia clothing company, with the intention to rewild. According to the Tompkins Conservation Organization, after a century of livestock operations, the lands of the Chacabuco Valley were seriously degraded, overgrazed, and struggling with invasive vegetation, while wildlife numbers had declined across the board. They had a plan to bring back the thriving ecosystem that once existed. This actually looks like a nicer stretch of road.
It does.
It's so flat in the valley you couldn't really see anything for most of it. It was hot and there was no shade anywhere. And I admit our attitudes became progressively worse for a while. It really is incredible how even in a place so beautiful, in a situation we're so lucky to be in, we can become so jaded and start to feel sorry for ourselves. But when we would pause and look around us, the place is spectacular. Looking back, I simply wish we had planned differently, that we had taken more time in the backcountry and had been fresher for the journey through this part of the park. If we hadn't covered 20 miles in the 2 days before this one, we would have felt better about today's hike. But we were tired. Too tired to truly appreciate it in the way it should be appreciated. I wanted badly to stop and stay, but it wasn't an option. Said I'm out of water.
You can get down to the water from here,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's lunchtime.
At 4:30?
Yeah.
Not at 12:30, but...
Rewilding is a term introduced in the 1990s by the conservationist and Earth First co-founder Dave Foreman to refer to large-scale wilderness recovery. Since 2004, the Tompkins organization has worked to restore this land to what it once was, and the Chacabuco Valley represents one of the largest grassland restoration projects ever undertaken. Rewilding here, as we've talked about before, involved removing all the livestock, as well as hundreds of miles of fencing and other ranching infrastructure, and reseeding the native vegetation, as well as programs aimed at boosting the wildlife populations such as the Waymule deer, the Andean condor, the puma, the nyandu, and others. And of course, part of the program was simply providing the space for nature to do its work and to heal itself. There is a strong debate, absolutely worth considering, about the effects of what are referred to as PPAs, privately protected areas, on local people and economies. And there are those, including many who lived and worked here before, who are far less impressed with this project than we are. There are, undeniably, issues with American billionaires buying up land in Chile and completely transforming the local economy. There are so many details about the history of this land and the people and the wildlife here that we simply don't have time to lay out. The ranching era was short-lived, and what culture and economy did it displace? And what about the rights of the natural world? It's absolutely a debate worth learning more about and wading into. What I know is this: in the broader world, nature has been losing consistently for too long. And as people who draw inspiration, comfort, and hope from wild places, we tend to come down on the side of rewilding. But then we've never been displaced from our homes by foreign billionaires and forced to find a new job to accommodate a project like this. As I said, it's a complicated question worth considering. But this is the world we live in, and at this point, it may be that any win for the natural world should be welcomed. In 2018, after 14 years of rewilding, the lands of the Chacabuco Valley were donated to the Chilean people and were combined with the Hainemani and Tamango nature reserves to create Patagonia National Park, a reserve of over 750,000 acres.
This just seemed like a really nice place to sit down.
It's less fun now.
Yep. Maybe 3 more miles. Yep. Duele mucho.
Finally, we arrived at park headquarters, exhausted. Of course, the campground was another 2.5 kilometers further on. Thankfully, we both arranged for a ride tomorrow morning into Cochrane and met 2 young Germans on an epic South American adventure who agreed to give us a ride to the campground. We were both a little punch-drunk, delirious, and happy to finally arrive.
No, they seemed like fun guys.
They do
actually.
seem like fun guys.
I bet they've had a great time.
I wish we had filmed a little bit of us
Yeah,
in the van. But
Yeah.
that Land Cruiser camper is so cool.
Yeah. If you say so.
It is.
That was so lucky. Those guys came in there.
Yes. Well, that was a pretty crazy way to wrap it up. I know we have tomorrow, but I mean, that was the end of like the trekking.
Yeah.
I would do it differently.
Yeah, me too.
I
But
did it again.
kind of hardcore though.
It's hardcore.
Yeah. I was thinking a lot about, and I think about this. You were kind of talking about this the other day, like expanding your capacity for hard things. Just that idea of, you know, when you have these moments of,
Oh yeah.
of
Yeah.
extreme discomfort, and
Right.
also kind of paired with like that, like I was just like, I'm not gonna hope to get a car, and that made it a little easier. But
Yeah. Well.
I don't know. Now we know we can do
Yeah,
that
you
if
just-
we absolutely needed to,
Yeah.
and that's pretty cool.
Well, normally. Yeah, I mean, it would be easy. Even if you just had like a regular pack,
Yeah.
you know, if you took the 10 extra pounds out of each of our packs,
Yeah.
that would be so much easier. But
Totally.
regardless, I mean, the biggest deal was the sun.
Yeah.
It wasn't the walk,
Nope.
really. It was just no shade at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the sun was bad. I mean, the last probably 4 miles were pretty uncomfortable.
At least the last half of the
Kind
hike,
of all around.
you know, at least the last half was in really cool landscape that
Yeah.
you could see.
Totally.
That
That
first
first section along
first
the-
stretch, you just couldn't
Right.
see anything
Totally.
because it was so flat, and you know, you're right against the edge and you're on the same level as the whole flat valley, and so you can't see over the brush
Yep.
anything that was out there. But once we got into that more rolling, open
Mhm.
terrain, that was cool. I mean,
Yeah, it was really cool.
It was fun seeing all the guanacos
Yeah.
standing on high rock
Yeah. I definitely.
outcrops.
That was an effort after a while to not just like, you know, it was an effort to like intentionally look up. Partly because of the sun, honestly.
Yeah.
Just getting blasted in the face, but yeah.
No, I'm sure I can tell. I mean, like my lips are all
Mm-hmm.
dried out,
Yeah.
and every time I would lift my head up, the sun was on
Right
part
on.
of my face.
Yeah.
But it was stuff worth seeing.
It was cool.
I mean, I'd love to ride along. I mean, that's what I would
Oh,
do
yeah.
if I did it again. I would have the 2 extra days on the trail,
Yeah.
and have arranged on the final day
Mhm.
to have someone pick us up at the stone house and spend the entire day,
Yeah.
like just, hire them for the whole day to
Yep.
just drive us through that valley and
Totally.
stop, and we'd do little
Yep.
hikes.
Well, maybe we'll come back, do some more stuff around here.
Well, definitely coming back to Patagonia.
Yeah. We'll just learn as we go. More.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Oh, you learned a ton
so much.
on this.
And it's cool. I mean, I think that there's a lot that translates, that it makes it easy for us to move in kind of any landscape that is like this. Like, I think we naturally have an affinity for it, but I think that, the thing that is missing being here is, like we were talking about, is just being like, what is that tree? Or like what, having
Right.
more of like an affinity and like an understanding of the place on a more, I don't know, molecular level,
Yeah.
where it's like we can take our, animal knowledge from home and apply it to like, okay, where are we going to see, different animals and have success with that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, I know. I think there's a lot that
There's so much.
translates.
There is. There totally is, and I love that because it makes it like I feel comfortable here. But I just want to know more.
Yeah, for sure.
What was your favorite day?
I don't know. Favorite things on different days, but I thought every day except for this one was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. The glacier, honestly, not giving up and then getting to the glacier. I think I really liked the way Mool. That
Yes.
was so cool. That's
That
Chile's
was.
national animal.
Really?
Yeah. That Chilean guy who was with that group that I talked to last night, I told him about that, and he's like, oh, that's really rare, super special, and it's our national animal. I'm like, oh, cool.
The next day, we woke up early and headed to a good viewpoint nearby. We knew it was our last chance to see a puma before we left, so we figured we'd sleep the next night. It was a beautiful morning, and it was nice to sit and watch, but in the end, the cat didn't appear. We did see a remarkable chase as one guanaco pursued another across the nearby mountainside. We still don't know exactly what was going on, but the
It's just two guanacos,
pursuer
though.
seemed rather upset. And it went on and on for a long time.
I wonder if that is like a mating thing.
And we took one more mellow walk through this spectacular landscape with very light packs and at a nice slow pace.
He's looking at the mountain lion on the hill over there.
The whole trip it still feels surreal in so many ways. I think that it was such an enormous undertaking to simply get there. And then once we were there, to find ourselves in the middle of this incredibly remote and beautiful landscape, and it was fun. I mean, there were so many moments and so many kind of misadventures along the way, and there were all sorts of challenges involved as well, you know. Struggling to find the glacier, having all sorts of river crossings that were frigid and not very well marked trails, and then just a long, grueling hike at the end of it made it unforgettable. And having a connection to a place like that is so far away from home, I think makes it a lot easier to feel connected to wild places in general. We're very lucky to live where we do, and also to have a piece of my experience on this earth be in that place is really, really special.
In the end, it was simply an incredible adventure. So many moments here that will be vivid in our memories for a long time. Once again, our personal maps have expanded, and once again we've seen firsthand another beautiful, inspiring piece of the wild world. And like Taylor said, we learned so much, and we know there's so much more to learn here. Hopefully we'll be back someday.